I was impressed with, again, Carson Beck. And now you're starting to hear this, right? Well, it's not him. It's the O-line and the receivers and the defense. Okay. He's favored to win the Heisman Trophy. But it's not him, right? Yeah, he's doing nothing. 4 touchdown passes against Florida State. Just people are so dumb. Oh, he shouldn't win it. He's not the best player on the team. He's the quarterback of a team that might go 12-0 this year. And as you pull up BetMGM and click the Heisman tab, there's Carson Beck on line 1, plus 500. Not him, though. It's not his fault. It's the offense. It's the system. It's the O-line. It's the receivers. Who's getting them the ball?
Yep. I don't know what the argument is. And you're right. Now that they won that Florida State game, and by the way, don't get it twisted with the final score. They were up 28-3, right? It's 28-3.
And stopped pressing. They stopped. They took their foot off the gas.
Yeah, I'm shocked by that one. It's Florida State, dude. This goes way back. There's bad blood there. I'm shocked that they kind of took their foot off the gas. But Beck, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He should be favored. I mean, if we've set the precedent that that's what we're doing, that this award is up for grabs, and whichever player, typically the quarterback, has the most impressive win/performance of the weekend, we vault them to the favorite, then you've got to move Beck up there. We've set that precedent. That's what's been going on with this race here in 2025. So he had to be the favorite.
Yeah, Dante Moore did not play, of course, so Oregon had to bye. Oregon has another very interesting game this week, which I know we're going to talk about here in a second. Indiana comes to Eugene, and we've seen some money on the dog in the game. But Carson Beck is on a 5-0 team that's number 2 in the AP poll with wins over Notre Dame, South Florida, Florida, and Florida State. He's the Heisman favorite. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's deservedly at the top of the list. And then after him, you got Moore at 7-1, Jeremiah Smith and Ty Simpson 8-1, Mendoza 13, Sayin 15. Sayin had a really good game against Minnesota. Granted, Minnesota's not that great. But that's going to be a very important game for the Heisman. Dante Moore and Oregon against Fernando Mendoza and Indiana. If Mendoza can go into Eugene and pull off the upset, he might be the favorite. And the early move in that game, I got the odds logic screen up right now. Oregon at Circa yesterday opened up as a 10-point favorite. That number is now 8.5 at BetMGM, and a lot of books in Vegas and offshore down to 7.5. They are betting the Hoosiers early in this one.
That was massive. You always wonder in a situation like this, are they trying to get the number to a specific spot so they can come in on the other side and take the favorite? That is a big move. Sam, this is the game. I don't know if it's going to be the most bet game. It's going to be in top 3 of the week when you have 2 top 7 teams in it, both 5-0 out of the Big Ten. Boy, to have a 2.5-point move just like that immediate, that says something. So I'm very curious where this ends up closing. Certainly something worth monitoring the rest of the week. Arch, don't think we're talking about him for Heisman anymore. All right, so Oklahoma on bye. Well, sort of. Kent State. It was bye and then Kent State. So a couple of byes over the last couple of weeks. And we've got Texas as a 2. Would you call it 2.5 across? And there were 3s. There are still some 3s out there, but it's pretty split, I guess. So what do you think of this number? Texas at the Cotton Bowl favored by 2.5 to 3.
Our friend Mo Pearson at Win on Saturday, I was asking him about this specific game because, these lines open Sunday. So the day before, I shot him a text and said, what's the number? And he said, this is as Texas is losing to Florida, mind you. He said, if Mateer is in, I make it a pick 'em. That was the way he responded to the question. I didn't lead him. I just asked, what's the line, Red River? And he said, if Mateer's in, it's a pick 'em. So if Texas opens 3, that's the books basically expecting that Mateer is out.
Yep.
If he were to play, you're going to see those 2.5s and 3s come down. This did open 3, and the initial push came in, obviously, on Oklahoma. who, ironically enough, blanked Kent State. Kent State did not score a point and still covered. So,
I know.
Whatever. That's twice they've done that now. I know.
You're like, they're going to get 7, right? I'm like, I don't know. But it didn't matter because
here's what I ended up doing. I ended up going over 53. I didn't lay the 45.5. I thought, look, there's correlation. You either like Kent State in the under or Oklahoma in the over, and that proved to be true. I was on the wrong side though. 44-0 as a 45-point favorite. So close. And then Oklahoma had a couple plays where Kent State was inside the red zone, and Oklahoma just made these Herculean plays to keep Kent State out of the end zone. And then Oklahoma's got to go 90 yards then, so just when you get Kent State to get down to the door, knock on the door, but not get in the door, you're not going to get over 53. But I digress. Oklahoma will be a lot closer to a pick'em if Mateer comes back. The expectation is he's not going to be ready. I know you're holding out hope. Are you going to bet some Oklahoma +3 in anticipation that they clear him?
That's what I'm thinking right now. And honestly, if they don't clear him, I don't hate having the 3 because I'm not sure that I'm going to get the 3, even if they don't clear
Texas
him.
O-line is pitiful.
And we know about that Sooners defense, man. They've looked impressive, but they haven't had a test like this. This is good. It's going to be interesting. Week after week, it feels like people are walking away disappointed with Texas. Okay. Do we know enough now? I mean, I can't wait for this game. It's going to be fun. It's interesting early on in the first 24 hours that we have these numbers that the biggest games of the week are the ones that are moving, right? Like that's what's jumped out to me. And let's go to Ohio State, Illinois. This is a top 20 matchup here. Ohio State's still undefeated, only one loss for the Illini. And this one has been moving north in favor of the road team, Ohio State. This goes from 14.5 to, I saw 16.5 this morning. I think I see some 16s out there right now. Don't see the number everywhere there, but Ohio State, a big favorite going to Champaign.
I know the Illinois fans are holding out hope for an upset because it already happened against USC. This is such a step up in competition. I think they can cover, though. I mean, I haven't given that much thought to it, and I do think there's going to come a time, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow or Wednesday, but I do think we're going to be headed to 17, at which point you will see an appetite for people to take 17 because it's not a key number, but it's a big enough number to entice somebody on the dog, considering this was 14.5 yesterday. I'm not laying it, that's for sure. It would be dog or pass for me. Getting 16, 17 points with a game totaled at 50.5 is mathematically attractive. Don't know that I'll get there. And I did have Ohio State against Minnesota, laid the 23.5, and that was fun. I actually found myself on a bunch of favorites, like ended up on Notre Dame covered, ended up on Ohio State covered, found myself flipping on myself and betting Alabama covered. I'm like, wow, I have all favorites today. And they all handled business. It would be dog or pass. The other game where I'll probably be on the dog, I get USC's soft-ass offense against Michigan's defense. So USC's at home, only laying 2.5 to Michigan. Yeah, I'll be on the dog there for sure. Give me that Michigan physicality against the USC softness.
Did you see the Notre Dame game closed in some spots at 21.5 after sitting 20.5 all week? They win by 21.
We told you. Lay it before 21. Do not be laying 21, let alone 21.5.
Another good one, SEC. So now Bama goes on the road, laying 3.5 at Mizzou. They are 5-0 on the season, total 53 and a hook. So Alabama, another big game, but that's life in the SEC.
Man, they're betting Missouri early. Circa opened 4, and now we're 3 at basically most sports books. I see Blue Book has 3.5. BetMGM has 3. All the Vegas shops have 3. Initial push, I think they wanted to kind of test that. Because, when you open up 4, you're like, all right, let's give a little bit of the built-in respect to the favorite. We'll hang the favorite 4. Nope, now we're 3. Less than, when did it move? I'm guessing right away. About 5 hours in, they moved it to 3.5, and then early this morning they moved it to 3. So the first 2 big pushes came in on Mizzou. That's a very, very elite offense in Columbia right now. And as somebody who's been on Bama the last 2 weeks, those moves are very, very powerful early in the week.
Initial reaction. Will Penn State cover against Northwestern? 21.5. Will they
My
win?
initial reaction would be no. But it's also Northwestern, man. Like, if there's one game Penn State could cover, it's against them.
I mean, they're all going to be thinking they're getting fired this week. That's all they're going to hear. Everybody's out, right? At home, you can't show up for this one after losing back-to-back weeks. Like, if they lose 3 in a row, I mean, everybody should be gone.